Thank you very much for joining me today. It's a pleasure to be here and participate in this community. A little bit sad because my co-presenter NetUK3 is unable to make it today, but he is watching remotely and wishes everyone well and hopes to see you next year. So without that, I'll sort of get on with it. Now, respecting the community, I don't normally like to sort of go into sort of a salesy marketing thing. However, I forget that, of course, not everyone knows who Infoblox is. So I've got a couple of slides just to cover that off, and then we'll talk about the fun stuff. So, yeah, we're quite an interesting company. We just achieved a major target in growth, becoming 1 billion in annual revenue with customers all over the world, and indeed some of our customers are here today. We would like to think that we've been innovative and we've been involved. As you can see, the timeline of what the company's been doing and where we've been going. And we've been moving more into a platform strategy and getting more involved, not just in, shall we say, reactive security, but more preemptive security. That's really where we are today. But I'm not going to go into that today. That's not really what we're going to talk about. So that's really a sort of a heads up of what we're doing. And the only buzzword I'm going to drop today is really that we've actually involving AI as well. Our friends NetBox are also doing the same kind of thing. We're looking at various things like MCP server enablement. But that's sort of like the high level of what Infoblox is getting up to. And then if you want to know the detail, that's pretty much it. That's all the different things that we're doing. We're covering around networking, security, and cloud. And I won't read from the slide, but that's the detail if you didn't know who we are and what we do. So, the great escape from on-prem. So, one of the things that Infoblox has been doing for many years is providing protocol services, DNS and DHCP. And as you can imagine, as we've been evolving, the modern branch site has been getting just a little bit more complicated. We talk about attack surface or blast radius from a security perspective, but from a NetOps perspective, we're managing many different devices than we were before. The usual enterprise thing, you had a couple of operating systems, some server tech. Now it's quite a bit more intense. So you see it sort of builds out. You've got the SaaS and the cloud apps, you've got data centers, various other things that are basically overloading you. And of course, more edges to protect, and you're getting that fragmented visibility and policy. As you'll have seen in some of the other talks, that concept of how do you create a good observability platform monitoring, and again, with all the diverse behaviors on your network, it's quite a hard thing to manage, as you know. So, what if you could deliver protocols as a service like NTP, DNS, and/or DHCP? Not that new. Infoblox started a project which they called BloxOne about 4 or 5 years ago, where they initially started this, and then they've evolved it into like a single platform. Infoblox sort of had kind of 2 product streams. It's now known as Universal DDI. And what that enables us to do is hook up an IPsec tunnel with either static addressing or BGP routing. And you literally can fire from your router to our cloud and basically make DHCP requests, relay, DNS requests. You can protect those DNS requests, NTP if you need it as well, without any deployment of hardware. You'll remember a few years back when Extreme Networks brought out their routers with Docker hosting. Cisco did the same with their Catalyst series. But again, it was a dependency, and you had to do all that kind of like awareness of managing a container. It gets back into that challenge of software, bill of materials, and not technical debt, but it's more stuff to manage. It was nice. It was a more agile way rather than having to like stand up a virtual server, which had to go on a host. But what if you had to just remove all that? And that's what we've done. So literally, you don't need to. All you need is that on-prem router. Why this has become fun for us is we started working with the likes of Versa, Alkira, Cato, Netscope to actually help them deliver protocol services through their network fabric in very much a simple GUI setup where you discover those SD-WAN fabrics, where those routers are, and it will automatically create those IPsec tunnels. So for the junior engineers that you're working with that may be not so familiar with IPsec tunnel fun, this is kind of easy, to be fair. And there is still the visibility in terms of the log streaming and the behaviors, and you have that visibility, so you're not obfuscating your service delivery. Thank you. Any questions? I told you, not too much marketing. Awesome. Well, thank you very much.